Hello, so in this episode we will be talking about finding purpose in kindness and the health and psychological benefits that you can have by practicing kindness to others and to yourself. So we will be discussing exactly what is kindness, defining it, and talking about how it can look. And secondly, we'll be looking at kindness and its relation to purpose, things like motivation and goal setting. And thirdly, we'll be looking at practicing self-kindness and some practical tips to be kinder to yourself and to treat yourself as you would treat someone else who you love.
So we're going to start right off with the definition of kindness and talk about what it's all about. Kindness is defined as the actions that benefit others or having a welcoming, generous, and thoughtful overall nature to someone's personality. Evidence has shown that helping others can ultimately benefit our mental health by reducing stress and boosting our mood, self-esteem, and happiness. Some examples of different acts of kindness can include checking in on a friend who you haven't spoken in a while, sending someone a handwritten note, opening the door for someone, complimenting your friends, families, or even strangers, or donating clothes to charity. So acts of kindness can range from something on a small scale, like opening the door for someone, or even large scale, like donating money or clothes to charity.
Alright, so moving on to kindness and purpose. So we'll be looking at what some research says about kindness and its relation to developing purpose. So one researcher found in 2020, and they compiled over 126 research articles, including 200,000 participants who were involved within those research articles, and he aggregated that information and looked at some of the results. And what they found was that prosocial, which they defined as kind and helpful behavior, and improved well-being, so whether that's physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, those were linked. And they actually found a difference between informal versus formal kindness and how that effect actually varied in terms of how it helped your well-being. So they found that informal kindness, which is like helping out a friend or giving them a meal if they need it, was actually more effective or linked to greater well-being compared to formal kindness, which was volunteering. And of course, that's not to say that volunteering is not effective and doesn't have positive impacts. That's just the research that they found. And they also found that kindness promoted what's called eudaimonic happiness, which is a type of happiness that gives you a sense of meaning and purpose in your life. So to dig deeper a little bit into this research and to maybe pose some reasons as to why they found that research, our group thought of a few things. So we thought of the fact that being kind takes effort, and it's not easy. So expressing kindness to other people and showing that in a tangible way may help us feel better about ourselves and our abilities, and that could provide us with a sense of meaning, particularly in our ability to help other people and to make them feel better. Secondly, helping others socially connects us with them. It can also give us that warm feeling that we get when we do help someone else, and it distracts us from our own stressors and the things that are causing us anxiety. It can also give us meaning that we're making a difference in our community if what we're doing is community work and kindness, or in another person's life when they tell us thank you, or when we see how our efforts improved their quality of life. Further, we found some research that being kind boosts endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine, which are neurotransmitters or chemicals in the brain that give you feelings of satisfaction and well-being. And those are just some reasons why being kind can cause those benefits. So lastly, we'll be looking at practicing self-kindness and how that can look. So being kind to ourselves is something that's often overlooked when we discuss a topic like expressing kindness to someone else. It's usually seen as us doing something to help someone else, and while that's super important, it's very undervalued the ways in which we treat ourselves. And there are numerous benefits, and a couple of them include practicing self-kindness can lead to lower levels of anxiety and depression, and it can also improve our motivation and our resilience to achieve the goals that we set out for ourselves, whether they're health-related goals or just goals in general that we are hoping to achieve. In terms of practical tips, there are two main ones that our team came up to talk about. And the first is positive self-talk. And positive self-talk involves verbally treating ourselves with respect. That means things like being able to compliment yourself and to be proud of yourself, even when talking to other people. Not, incorporating self-deprecating humor or talk into your language and making that a habit is one way to promote positive self-talk. Also, just a general rule of thumb is if you wouldn't say it to your good neighbor, then don't say it about yourself. Being able to treat yourself as you would treat someone else is an important rule of thumb here. And lastly, just self-encouragement and compassion can go a long way, particularly when it comes to achieving goals, because oftentimes it's easy to incorporate negative self-talk if we feel like we failed our goals. However, encouraging ourselves actually does allow us to pursue those goals in a more effective way, because we're able to kind of bounce back and be resilient when we're not in a place where we feel like we can achieve that goal immediately. Lastly, talking about mindfulness, so things like quick exercise or meditation for a few minutes, taking a walk, or simply just resting our eyes after a long day of screens can be a positive way to improve mindfulness and being kind to yourself in a physical way.